Hello all research scholars and all the postgraduate students who are working on some research or other. This video is particularly for the PhD students and for all aspiring PhD students who would like to do PhD in future. This video is all about how to create a thesis defense presentation that shows your work at its best. This is nothing but PPT presentation or PowerPoint presentation, we all call it. We are going to find out how to prepare a wonderful, awesome, and the best presentation which you are going to give in front of the examiners and all the audience who are going to see your Open Defense Viva OC examination, because we all know Open Defense Viva OC examination is open for public. It can be attended by anybody who is having interest in your thesis or your topic or your title, and they are free to ask all sort of questions related to your research. Design a thesis defense presentation. It has to be very precise, to the point, and it should catch the eye of the audience. You should be able to make them realize what exactly you have done in your research. You should be able to engage all of them. Let us find out what are the important points. Let us see what are the do's and what are the don'ts of an effective PowerPoint presentation for PhD. So these are the 7 important points which will define how your presentation look like, and it should be presentable. It should be attractive. It should keep the audience engaged. That is what is the ultimate purpose, and it should reflect your hard work and sincerity which you have undertaken while carrying out your research. Define your signature idea is the first thing which often the researchers should focus on. Now, what is this? Define your signature idea is nothing but your thesis has a focus, a goal, a core concept. Whatever theme you have taken for the research, it should reflect in your PPT presentation. A strong design will help to engage the committee. Whatever committee is evaluating your research, the strong design has to be there. So the focus is the primary thing which you should concentrate on. If you lose this focus, then the entire thing which you'd like to present in front of the committee or the audience will go away. In fact, whatever hard work you have done has to be presentable, has to be very presentable, and need to be presented properly. So the choice of colors, fonts, image, visual touch should all support the point you are making in your thesis, from the very first slide to the last slide. So this is what it should go in your presentation, because we all know presentation is the interface between what you have done and what audience is going to pursue about it. In fact, it's going to act as a brand ambassador for you. It is going to personify your research, your objectives, your hypothesis, your analysis, your findings, your conclusion and suggestion. So the choice of color, fonts, image and visual touch should all support the point you are making in your thesis from the first slide to the last slide. This all of you should keep in mind. Second point is know your audience. You should be thorough with who are going to attend your Viva OC exam or Open Defense exam. You should know the background, who is going to ask questions to you, so that you remain prepared. Right? So if in doubt, stay serious. Whenever you feel like you are not able to answer, you have to show that you are serious about answering the question. Keep each slide focused on one point. This is the biggest mistake most of the researchers do. They try to bombard the slide with too much of information, which according to me is not at all needed. PowerPoint presentation in itself means point. You have to keep in mind that all the slides should not have more than 4 to 5 points which you are going to highlight, which you are going to elaborate. So the point, PowerPoint, again, I'm repeating it again, PowerPoint means only points. This should not carry para, too much of sentences, too much of facts and figures. So the focus has to be one slide, one point. So these are very less is more is again one of the jargon which is used. The less you use, it's going to be more for the audience, because they're going to focus on that. So these are very important points. The link of this particular website I'm going to share with all of you. So instead of just going through this point, we are going to see for ourselves how does the PPT presentation look like for final Open Defense Viva OC examination of PhD. We are here particularly talking about PhD because we know PhD forms the highest qualification for any faculty or for any students and it has to be done very right, very correct. If you go wrong, then your entire exercise, your entire efforts will go wrong. Even though you have done the research well, it has to be presented. You have to focus on topography also. No, from where this PPT is prepared? From the thesis? Yes, definitely yes. But while submitting the thesis, we do submit the summary of the your PhD thesis. Now this summary is going to be handy. You have to use this summary only. You need not refer to your thesis again and again, because this summary was prepared taking into account the thesis. So this is one of the sample summary I would like to present in front of you. From this summary, we are going to pick up important points for your final PPT presentation. Now the final PPT presentation can be chapter wise. You can go chapter wise, or you can just put a storyline. See, here the research scholar has done it chapter wise, so your PPT presentation can be chapter wise. It's entirely up to you, but if you feel like you can present it as a storyline, that can also be done. We're going to take a look at few of the sample PPTs also. Why I'm showing this summary? Because from here you are going to pick up the important points which will go in your PowerPoint presentation: research design, hypothesis, and all your findings, sample and population. Then you'll be talking about the methodology you have used, data collection. These are all important points, and you can entirely rely on your summary, which you have done meticulously well, and you can use all these particular important points. Because if you start referring to your thesis again, then you get confused, because all pages are important in the thesis, and you will be tempted to use more of information in your PPT which is not at all needed, because you are there to explain the audience what exactly you have done. So this was something about the summary of the PhD thesis, data analysis. This is done chapter wise. Let us go straight away go to the PowerPoint presentation done from the summary of the thesis. So this is the content. Again, point wise you can have the framework is more or less going to remain same. It's going to change. This thing is going to change depending on your title or the topic, but rest of the things are more or less going to remain same. So this is how the PowerPoint presentation should look. It should not be bombarded with too much of information. Here are 3 points which the research scholar is going to explain. Review of literature. Again, it has to be explained by the research scholar. Not much of the information. Need of the research. Then again, research methodology and concept. This is what is exactly called as PowerPoint presentation. You are going to just present the points, and you are going to explain or elaborate on these particular points. Wherein the analysis part, you can put few graphs and few charts which will show the analysis part of it, and what are the statistical tools you have used to analyze this data. Hypothesis testing, here T chart are used, T analysis is used. Then again, findings, again in nutshell. This, because this again form a very important part. This is the important part of the thesis. Here you can have a liberty of putting more words, but try to put it in nutshell, because here in finding what happens, you cannot put all the things in nutshell in only points. So you are free to use certain sentences. Further area of research. So this is the last slide, and the very last slide will be thanking the audience. Right? You always start with welcoming the audience, and you always end up with thanking the audience. These are the 2 compulsory slides which will go in most of the PowerPoint presentation, and it has to be awesome, it has to be effective, it has to be great. So welcome slide, and at the end should always be the thank you slide. So these are few of the sample PowerPoint presentation which we would like to present in front of you. Here again is one of the thing which the researcher has done. One more important point is regarding the theme. As you can see in all the PowerPoint presentation, the theme is more or less the same. And what does it say? Consistency is the keyword. If you can just see what this particular PowerPoint presentation, you can make out the color combination, the font size or font types. There is a consistency in presentation which will not distract the audience. All of a sudden, if you change the color combination, you change the font size, too much of information is given, then the audience may get distracted and they may start losing interest. So consistency is the key in almost all sort of or any sort of presentation, and that too for a research. This gives a seriousness to your presentation, because all you have to remember is this is an academic presentation and this is not marketing of your research. You are presenting it in front of the audience. Thank you all of you for watching this video. If you have any doubts, any queries, please feel free to put your comments in the comment box.